I've been a citizen of Pflugerville since 2003. I served 2 years in the Marine Corps in the Vietnam era, 1975 to 1977. It was my vision in the military was good enough to get me into the military, but I had all kinds of symptoms of blindness while I was in the military, and even before I went into the military. Night blindness was my main symptom. Color blindness, tunnel vision. But as I look back over my life, I always had night vision problems. I just didn't know. I thought everybody saw like I did. But I've had night vision problems well before I went into the military. While I was in high school, junior high, it goes back a long way when I look back at things. But I was telling my sister the other day, I went back as far as the 4th grade. And I remember that I used to always try to sit up front of the class so I could see the blackboards. That was all through school. I was like that. I had to sit close to the front. And kind of nervous about sitting close to the front because the people up front are always getting asked. It was getting worse the whole time. I started seeing little black dots in my vision, especially after on sunny days and when I didn't wear shades. My visions were dotted with little black dots. Retinitis pigmentosis, I got diagnosed in July of 1977. It's a degenerative eye disorder that affects the optic nerve. It's called retinitis pigmentosis. So over a period of time, the retina is spotted like you would have a pigment on your arm that's discolored. Well, over time, my whole retina is covered with those pigments, like discoloration. So no light can come into that retina. So therefore, no light goes to the brain. So it just stops what I can see. I can't transmit out that light back out into a picture. And this was after driving at night. I was going head on toward another car. Didn't realize I was going head on with another car. I had passengers in the car who were screaming, and I had no idea what they were screaming about. They were screaming because I was head on with another car. At the last minute, I was able to turn a hard right and hit the car. We hit each other. But it was mine was my left front fender, and hers was her left front fender, but nobody got seriously hurt. I drove 10 years after that. I probably should have hung up my keys. Grace of God, I didn't hurt myself or nobody else. I see nothing now. Every now and then sometimes I can tell when it's bright, sometimes I can't. For a long time, I had light perception. I could see a little light, but nowadays, when you got bills to pay, rent to pay, food to put on your table, you keep moving forward the best you can. But it was always a strain on me because I always wanted to be home before it was dark because my night vision driving was just horrible. It goes back and forth. Technically, it don't mean nothing. Technically, I can't. I still can't. I've been trained on iPhone, on a computer, on mobility training, using my cane up and down city streets, getting on and off buses. That type of training, how to cook. I have little dots that I can put on stuff, so when I want to cook or do something, I can go back and hit those dots and, start my process of cooking. I was seeking. I can't go back that far. It's in the mid-80s, but I was struggling on my job seeing, struggling. Sometimes I had to work at night, struggling getting home at night, driving down the street, because night blindness was dominant in my vision. So any and everywhere I was, I always tried to get home by night if it was possible. The state had a program, I'm trying to think of a business commission for the blind. At the time it was called the Business Enterprise Program, BEP. Today it's called BET, Business Enterprise of Texas. I've been here. Well, I started out and off of 35 in Riverside. I was there from September '89 to February of '93. And then I've been at the W.P. Clements building at 300 West 15 since February 1st of '93 to the present day. When I lived in Austin, like I say, I was from 1989 to 2003. I used Capital Metro because I was in the city limits of Austin. You know, I just wait, call in, they pick me up home, take me to work, pick me up at work, take me back at home. But they had passes that you can use, affordable and reliable. And but you know, a lot of times I left out at 4:35 in the morning. They did have hours that you can use, but I usually left the house about 5 o'clock. Back when I first started, we were open 6 to 3. Now I'm open 7 to 2. I got grandfathered in when I first moved here. Then I don't know what happened. Well, I used to catch Capital Metro all the way in when I first moved out. So that played out. Then I used to catch Capital Metro. I used to catch a Lyft or Uber to Tech Ridge, and that's where I used to meet Capital Metro. So they didn't come back in Pflugerville, but they came up to Tech Ridge, so I would take Capital Metro from Tech Ridge downtown. And vice versa. I'd catch it in the afternoon from downtown to Tech Ridge and catch a Lyft or Uber here. But I always used Capital Metro. But then when it went away, the times became inconvenient and they stopped. Well, technically, let me go back because it's been a while. I went down to do a reval for Capital Metro, and I had been using it 20 years up until that point. But for some reason, they say I was too mobile. I got around too good, so they dropped my services. I mean, I've done it all. I've taken, and I still do it all. I might take Lyft. I do take Lyft downtown. Back then, I might take Lyft downtown. I might take it to Tech Ridge, take a bus from Tech Ridge downtown. I mix it up. It was pretty expensive. But if I go in and out, I spend about 40 a day, 40 plus a day. 40 times 20. We run about 20. I haircut every 2 weeks. Whatever, it's usually around $20, $25 a trip, anywhere in Pflugerville. Well, I mean, if they had bus service, I can get out, catch a bus, and depending on the times they ran and where they came, I just get out. Catching the bus is not an issue. If it's somewhere close, a couple of blocks away, I can walk to the bus stop, catch a bus. Have them let me up in a place. Any kind of transportation would be less than what I'm paying now would be a benefit to me. But from here to Tech Ridge, then from Tech Ridge downtown, I usually catch a bus. The buses that I need to get downtown at the time I need to get downtown. They come about 4:40, 4:45. I have to be there by then, ready to go. Yeah, I'm out more than most people. I've been out in rainstorms. I've been out in snowstorms, all kind of weather. Well, we need strong leadership. I consider you a strong leader. And we also need leaders that care about the average citizen and their needs. So you're in that category, high up in that category. So I think you would make a strong mayor and a strong leader.
As you can see, this was a great interview. Just learned a little bit about Keith Turner. Keith Turner had an opportunity to serve our military. Unfortunately, he actually has retinitis pigmentosis. Well, he's one of our heroes for a number of different reasons. And the biggest one I hope you were able to see here. Even with what some would consider a disability, he did not let that stop him. However, as the mayor of Pflugerville, the goal is to have the opportunity to help guys like this who need transportation to do regular stuff. Go to job, go to church, go to the grocery store, go get their haircut, go to the doctor's appointment. Whatever the case may be, we want to be in a position to make sure that they are covered. You may not be blind. However, you may be one of those guys who don't have a car just yet. You need to get to work. You need to go hang out with friends, go visit your family, go to school. My goal is to bring public transportation to Pflugerville. And for those of us who have cars, at the drop of a dime, you can lose your car through a car accident or a repair. How are you going to be able to get to work? Public transportation is not a nice to have, it's a must have. Pflugerville is far too large not to have public transportation. Thank you. This was just a quick example with my good friend Keith Turner. And I'm hoping that you will see the value of having a leader that knows how to get this done. Public transportation that's not just effective, but also efficient right here in the city of Pflugerville, Texas. Thank you, and I look forward to your vote.